Hello, all of you. Here we begin with the first class for assessment procedure. Before I start with assessment procedure, the last class was for charitable trust. New amendment added now, that is the exit tax. Exit tax, the way they have given in your material is they might ask you only the conditions and theory question, but definitely something will come from exit tax. And if they ask you problems, it's very easy to work out. Everyone is writing the booster notes separately also once. I know you all are preparing so many subjects, but or at least in the same running notebook, wherever you are writing booster notes, you can put a section or you can put a stick on. So one day before exam, if you revise that format of booster note, you will remember कि okay, exit tax में fair market value of immovable asset, quoted shares average price, like that you have to take. Okay. This is the technique, because however good and committed way you are taking coaching, now you are studying, very important is now only to decide and keep what you are going to study one day before exam. When I told you in case of trust also that the last problem was very important, I said it is asked in July 21, which is covering all the adjustments. Star mark that problem, put a stick on over there, use that fixed colored stick on, okay, these are the pages I should scroll back one day before exam. Okay, right. And make sure, promise please, I'm taking lot of efforts to make quality good paper which will have MCQs, it will have theory, it will have problems, it will have commenting questions, everything on charitable trust and return of income. So that much enthusiasm when I am showing to set the paper, and paper will be of 60 marks. You have to attempt 50 marks. I'll give 2 extra questions. Don't attempt extra questions right now for my exam. For practice, you can. Because I want you to go with that mindset also. Okay, if we have a choice, ma'am, if we do extra questions, will they correct everything? Answer is no. If there are 6 questions and if you're supposed to answer 5, it's not the best of the 5 they will give the marks. First 5 they will correct, give the marks. Sixth one they'll just scratch, they won't even correct. So make sure this question, this mindset of choosing also, you take it from here. Okay, right. Now here we begin with the assessment procedure. Frankly speaking, assessment procedure is a linked part of return of income. Return of income is the last thing to be done from SSE side. I have earned income throughout the year. I have paid advance tax in 4 installments. I computed my income. I computed my tax, and I paid self-assessment tax, bacha kucha, and I filed my return. While filing the return, the types of the returns and the PAN and Aadhaar linking, who will sign the return, where I need to quote PAN card, this is all done in section 139. The very next section of 139, return of income, we are starting right now is 140A, where you pay self-assessment tax and farewell. Farewell for whom? SSE. Today's class assessment procedure is interval ke baad ki movie. What happens when you file the return? When you're filing the return, what is happening? From the department side, what all actions are taken one by one? How the return is assessed? How do you get intimation? If something is wrong, how do they correct? In spite of saying if you don't file the return, then what? Scrutiny. If there is a raid, how the assessment is done. One of the most important amendment of last year, but still very important now, is section 147. Even the raid cases, the assessment is done in section 147. Okay, if there is a conflict between SSE and the डिपार्टमेंट देन बड़े पप्पा आते हैं, उनका नाम है DRP, dispute resolution panel. He will give his opinion how that process goes on. Again, we'll take a pause here. We will do MAT, because if I teach assessment procedure at a stretch, it's very long. This assessment procedure, after completing till 144, 147 and all, then directly it goes on 263 appeals and revisions and all that, and decide all raid cases, survey, inspection of the book. So this is a 3-partitioned assessment procedure. Are you getting? I'm in the first part right now. Ki after I file the return as an SSE, what is happening on the department side. That's all. We'll stop. If there is a raid, what happens? How books of accounts are seized? What are the rules, regulation, all that. वो हम अलग से पढ़ेंगे 130 to 133. 263, 264 appeals, High Court, Supreme Court, that is another part. So these are the partitioned ways we are going to do assessment procedure. And from this chapter, you cannot expect a numerical problem क्योंकि कुछ है ही नहीं trust के जैसे, but very nice commenting questions are asked. And in that also like 292 double B, I want you to remember this section. So I am saying now, like this few questions are there which are repeatedly asked. So this time with all the questions, I have printed the answer also, dear students, because these are commenting questions. So how you analyze and then you apply this knowledge. Okay, if the return is filed in this much time, assessment will be done like this. Like that you need to answer. Okay. So this is a background I have built up. Are you clear now what is assessment procedure? Huh? Assessment procedure is the story after you file the return. What is the action taken by the department? In between the return filed and the action started by department, 140 to 1 May, return is 139, beech mein section 140 is there. That is called as the self-assessment. That's the last action taken by SSE. SSE is saying, I have paid all my tax, 100% of the tax. It is paid in 4 installments by 15th of March. Still, chota mota tax left out along with interest, if any, 234A, B, C interest for late filing of the return, for underpayment of taxes, whatever it is, or late fees there, 234F, या आधार पैन लिंक नहीं किया तो 234H. With that we will file the return. So the first thing we are starting to reading is self assessment tax. It is the final tax paid by SSE at the time of filing the return, along with all the interest, penalty, fees, everything. If this tax falls short, okay, you have paid self assessment tax 10,000. But department is saying, no, this expense is not allowed. ये income कम लिया है, ये ऐसा है, ATC नहीं मिलता आपको. You cannot pay PPF for your father and claim ATC like that. So some reasons, if your income is increased and if your tax goes up from 10 to 15,000. So how this tax is adjusted is asked many times in the exam. Okay. So with this, I'm sharing the material. You already have all the material with you all. So start reading it with me. Okay, it is all a procedural class. So if I'm asking you some questions, do answer in the chat box. And if you have a doubt, shortly please pause me and clarify your doubts. And in fact, in this topic, last batch also, Sandeep, Usha, so many of them, like frankly speaking, because I'm into full-time teaching, sometimes I try to give the best example, but students give better example for the assessment procedure because they are doing all this live in the office. Huh? Ex parte assessment ऐसे होता है, madam ऐसे होता है. So most welcome. Please add on. You all are final students. And I'm also a student one step ahead of you. So anything you want to add here, please go ahead with that. Absolutely no problem. So the last class was exit tax. So that's what it's showing on the screen. I hope you all have written this. Oh, by mistake, this amendment. Amendment file is received or not by all of you? I'm missing like 2 days. Some internet was not there. All that. Did you all receive amendment file? Yeah, I'll just open 2 seconds. I'll just open the. Till then, if you can message me back, you all have received the amendments of trust. Print it out. Print out निकालना है इसका. Return of income, those who have missed the class. Updated return is a new one added now. So make sure you do it. They will surely ask you some question on updated return. ठीक है? Yeah. Okay, one more thing I want to say, as I am discussing with all of you, the assessment procedure because in assessment procedure, who is going to have the power in 147 and who will do the assessment? For that, we should know the hierarchy in which the department works. For that, I am discussing income tax authorities, which is frankly speaking your another chapter. It starts with section 128, which says who are the income tax authorities and you need to report to whom and who can give the instructions to subordinate. So that I want to discuss right now. I want to discuss that. Let us take it from the screen. Check on the screen. You are able to see page number 112. Assessment procedure including the dispute resolution process. पहले इनको DRP dispute resolution panel बोलते थे. Now it is dispute resolution process. Okay, please check this. Under Ministry of Finance, we have two departments. CBDT, Central Board of Direct Taxes, which is managing the Income Tax Act in India, and CIBIC. CIBIC is like indirect taxes, which are being taken care by Central Board of Indirect Taxes and Custom, GST and Custom. Now, CBDT is always working with two departments. Okay, it's all online and faceless, but still the people whom we come across in the department is the assessment wing. Okay, investigation wing is backside wing, you know. So much of processing is done, like we all file AIS, annual information statement. हाँ, specified financial transactions, जो बड़े बड़े transaction है, कि how much you have made payment through credit card, which clubs bill you have paid, how much drawings you are showing, what birthday parties you are spending, anniversaries, how many trips you have traveled outside India. All this information is processed back end by the investigation wing, this side. What we normally work is assessment wing. Who are at the top of the assessment wing? You can write here in your book. These are called as the top officers. TOs. Top officers, I call them. Principal Chief Commissioner of Income Tax Act, PCCIT. Chief Commissioner of Income Tax, PCIT, Principal Commissioner, and CIT, Commissioner of Income Tax. So Commissioner, Principal Commissioner, Chief Commissioner, Principal Chief Commissioner, and all. So these are called as the top authorities who take major decision. Go back to your trust chapter. Are you working for the object of the trust? Are your activities genuine or not? Who is deciding all that? Yes, who is giving the permission? Okay, give 3 years provisional registration to trust, and then we will see and we will confirm within, you remember, 3 years ka provision. Who gives that? The commissioner of income tax or iske upar wale authorities. Whenever we don't agree with the assessing officer, and if we want to file appeals, we will go to commissioner appeals, CIT appeals, or so many times we go above that. So you know, CIT appeal se ek aur hierarchy shuru hoti hai. You can write it here. From the CIT appeals, if you are not satisfied, you went to CIT appeals, but the case is won by the department. So you can go to whom? ITET, Income Tax Appellate Tribunal. It's like a small family court. ITET. ITET में, if you win the case, can the department go to High Court? Yes. अब हाई कोर्ट में डिपार्टमेंट जीत गई तो हम कहाँ जाएंगे? सुप्रीम कोर्ट. And Supreme Court maybe if department wants the case, then where we should go? Go back to your home. This is highest authority in India. Supreme Court judgment is as good as law. That's why we use it as reference in the form of case laws. that in this and this case, the High Court or the Supreme Court have given this kind of the judgment. Done. So this is another hierarchy which I will teach you ahead, but right now also you should know. And you know, very popular line which should go into your ears from now till exam is, ITET is the last fact finding authority. Inquiry करना, detail में सब पूरा scrutiny करना, who will do? Commissioner Appeals and ITET. Stop. High Court and Supreme Court will just give their decision, judgment. And beyond Supreme Court, it is nothing. Whoever wins, whoever loses, everyone should accept. Is the hierarchy clear to you? So coming back to our assessment wing, who are the topmost officers? PCCIT, CCIT, PCIT and CIT. Who are called as assessing officers who genuinely deal with all the matters? Additional Commissioner of Income Tax, Joint Commissioner of Income Tax. Additional Commissioner of Income Tax, Joint Commissioner of Income Tax. Okay. Or Assistant Commissioner and Deputy Commissioner, or the Income Tax Officers. All these are called as AOs. Are you all with me? Ma'am, ये क्या पढ़ा रहे? ये hierarchy याद करना पड़ेगा. You should know it. Because what are the powers of each one? You should know. Like अगर trust का registration कराना है, तो these higher authorities. अगर revision of order कराना है, तो these higher authorities. Routine. Whatever we are dealing with AO. AO में कौन कौन आएगा? AC, DC, JC, ITO. ITO Income Tax Officer, AC Assistant Commissioner, DC Deputy Commissioner, JC Joint Commissioner. Commissioner Appeal CIT एक अलग है. I've told you. Below Income Tax Officer are small officers who are called as Tax Recovery Officers, and below them are the Inspectors of Income Tax. All clear to all of you? Any doubt in the names in the hierarchy? Same way now, backend, as I said, they are working for you. That is the investigation wing. Investigation wing. In investigation wing, it is Principal Director General. Here, Principal Chief Commissioner, Principal Director General. Here, DGIT, Director General. Below that, Principal Director. Here, Director. Then even all this will go into a box. It's not done, but this will all go into the box. Additional Director, Joint Director, Assistant Director, Deputy Director, these are all like here. Okay. So this is the way the investigation department works, you know. Mainly when they correct the data for all this. That is in all these cases, no? What do you say? जब आप tax audit होता है, तो you file the 3CD report. In that also questionnaire is there. So like that, they get from various places, they collect data, different. And then they try to cross check and analyze. Oh, this person is showing this much. AIS में तो इतना बना and all that. So this is the back work being done. I hope this flowchart is helpful so that we understand assessment procedure better. Now, you know, assessment is basically of two types. Generally, I want to talk about it orally. Listen, all of you. Whenever I file the return, the department should give me something return, no? Ki, okay, we have accepted your return. That is called as acknowledgement or intimation. Acknowledgement and intimation doesn't mean that it is over. After that, can they ask me for more details and can they change my return? Yes. Scrutiny assessment. So 100 people have filed, you know, जैसे वो हाउसी खेलते हैं ना, एक नंबर निकालते हैं, तो 100 people have filed the return. Out of that, few are picked up for scrutiny. Scrutiny is, see, crores of people are filing the return. So department will say, what's the name of the tax I taught you? Self-assessment tax. So department will say, okay, you yourself assess your income and pay the tax. Promise that it's all correct only. Done. Out of 105, they will randomly check. And sometimes they check based on their back-end information. No, this person is, you know, some filters are there in the system. तो वो फिल्टर में वो पॉपअप हो जाएगा, तो दिस केस इज पिक्ड अप फॉर स्क्रूटनी. बहुत ज्यादा सिस्टर कंसर्न, टू मेनी परचेजेस इन कैश, too many sales or whatever, some criteria they have, they pick up. Scrutiny is like more detailed. They will call books of accounts, all and all. They will ask you to get confirmation from your data, and then your assessment is done. उससे भी एक आगे है बेस्ट जजमेंट असेसमेंट. नाउ आई एम मेकिंग यू कंफर्टेबल विद द नेम्स. हाउ दिस विल वर्क इज वेरी इजी, and sometimes in the exam straight question, write a short note on best judgment assessment, and sometimes they'll give so and so persons this, so how, so you have to write within 6 months and all. Let me tell you one thing basic, all the assessment procedures time limit is reduced from 12 to 9 months. Now everything is over in 9 months. It's all printed in material, but just saying. What is best judgment assessment? नाम से पता चल रहा है best judgment. Department asked me to file the return, I didn't file. 139(1) date gaya, belated gaya, revised gaya, updated return. You remember? Till 2 years I can file the updated return and all gone. Nothing I did. They gave me 142 on notice. Dipti Chheda, file your return. Still I didn't file the return. Then they will say, okay, you are not responding to the best of our knowledge and belief and with all the facts available. We will make the assessment on our own. This is your income, this is your tax, and straight चालान आ जाएगा मुझे टैक्स का. This is called as best judgment assessment. So how many assessments we are going to learn in this chapter 3? Scrutiny assessment, randomly picked to be checked in detail, best judgment assessment, and income escaping assessment. You have not shown your income. You have not shown your black money. You have not shown how you have made investments. And if there is a survey, search, and all, earlier assessment was done in different section. Now it is all done in section 147. Income escaping tax. So these are the three kind of assessment. And for all this, whatever they give you challan and all, that is called as demand notice under 154, and how it is to be paid and all 154, 156 we will do. Clear? So let us see this hierarchy. Yes. SSE is liable to pay tax. Okay. Self-assessment. And suppose he has filed the return. Second note. There are many procedures in between. I'll tell you. Are you all following? Any doubt in your mind? Any back-end question? Please ask. That's why I don't take all the theory together, and I'll give a break in half an hour. I myself cannot go on teaching like this. Thoda sa important hai flowchart. Dekho. SSE files the return. Okay? And he gets intimation. Ma'am, if everything is correct, still you will get the intimation. Answer is yes. Acknowledgement intimation aayega 143(1). If the case goes for scrutiny, scrutiny is done in 143(3), but scrutiny notice 143(2) is served. Respond and assessment will be done in scrutiny. If you don't respond in scrutiny, best judgment. Okay. Here, if no return is filed, we will ask you notice under 142(1)(1). यहाँ पे लिखो to file return. Please write down. To file the return, they will ask you and they'll give you a notice in 142(1)(1). Then return is filed, it can still go for scrutiny, otherwise over. Acha, after asking you to file the return under 142(1), you are not filing the return, then best judgment assessment. So this is how the procedure is. No one is going to ask you this diagram. This is the mind map background you should know. Chalo. Self-assessment tax is the tax payable by the SSE. Okay. Wherein any tax is payable after deducting relief, rebate, advance tax, TDS, TCS, MAT, AMT credit. You remember AMT credit you can do for 15 years and all. And on the basis of return furnished, the SSE is required to pay tax before filing the return. The return furnished without paying the self-assessment shall be treated as defective return. This we have seen in 139(9). If any interest is payable under 234A for late filing of return, 234C for default in paying advance tax, 234F again late filing of the return. Belated return का भी एक date है December. So while calculating above interest for the purpose of self-assessment, tax on total income shall be considered as follows. Mark this, very important for MCQs. Whenever there is a shortfall of tax, how your tax is adjusted, for that I've just self-created this example. Where amount paid by SSE falls short of the tax, interest and fee. You all, everyone in the class knows what is tax. Tax is tax, original tax on income plus surcharge ESES. ये हो गया tax. Interest सबको मालूम है 234 ABCD EFG H तक. Fee 234F वही late return का fee 5,000 and all. Now, if there is a shortfall, it shall first be adjusted against fee. Thereafter interest and balance any tax. Look at this, how smart they are. If there is a shortfall, they will first adjust the 234F fee. Then they will adjust the interest and then they will adjust the principal. Okay? Right. Let us check. Tax payable is 10,000. 234C interest is late interest for late payment of installments. You know, 15% you have to pay June, 45% you have to pay September, 75% you have to pay December, 100% you have to pay March. Ma'am, but I've paid everything 100% in March. But if you have paid nothing in December, then 234C to lagega. 234F lagega. If your return is not filed on time. Total tax payable is 10,600. Now, how much advance tax you have paid? 5,000. TDS 4,000. Self-assessment tax 200. Sorry. So 9,200 you have paid out of 10,600. So what is shortfall in the payment of tax? 1,400. Frankly, this is shortfall in the payment of the total tax. But how do they adjust 9,200? 9,200 में सबसे पहले they will adjust the fee, 234F fee. Then they will adjust the interest. Then they will adjust the tax. Are you getting the reverse adjustment? Whenever there is shortfall in the tax, first adjusted is fees, then adjusted is interest, and then adjusted is tax. So obviously the shortfall is on tax, और अगर tax का shortfall है तो interest और लंबा charge होगा. The more shortfall in the tax, the more interest you are liable to pay. After assessment, any amount paid under this section shall be deemed to have been paid towards the assessment. If SSE fails to pay whole or part of tax and interest, he shall be deemed to be SSE in default. Mark it for objective question. Who shall be the SSE in default? Who's not paying the proper tax? He's liable to pay, but he's not paying. After this, it's very easy. I will not read and teach. I will explain in my way, one para. And then we will just overcheck it. Can you all please check this example on your own, because this has come in the MCQs. This is being asked in the MCQs, and I hope if you have any doubt, pucho. Till then, I'll check just 2 seconds. I had sent the material on the same day. कोई और ग्रुप में तो नहीं भेजा दिया, आपको ही भेजाया होगा. Yeah, it's there now, Ashwini. You are saying I have not sent. I've sent it on Monday only. Amendment material, 7 pages. I've already sent. Huh? Yeah. No, assessment procedure, everything is printed in the book. No change. Yeah. Sure. Okay, so sequence is clear? Right. After submitting the return, the assessment is made. Intimation is called as regular assessment. If you know, no, ma'am, if everything is correct, will they still go for scrutiny? No. Then whatever acknowledgement they will give, that is your intimation. Scrutiny, assessment, best. These are the three major assessment you should know. For making assessment, you can make an inquiry. Provisions relating to inquiry are given. Okay. So for making all this, it's not only scrutiny or best judgment or income escaping. When the department is making the assessment, can they ask for more thing? हाँ? तो ये सब का एक gist मैं आपको बताती हूँ. See, either your case has gone for scrutiny and department is asking you for more details. Should you give? Yes. If your case has gone for that income escaping assessment or best judgment, can they ask for more details? Yes. So now what I'm asking you is, first of all, they can ask you for more information from your books of accounts. They can ask you for more information other than the books. What is the other source of income, clubbing, ye, wo. Other than books also, if they feel more information is there, they can ask, oh, you are into teaching, how many students are there, what is your annual fees, how many bank, whatever they want to inquire. So first is they can inquire from the books, details, all. They can ask me to get the confirmation from, okay, these are your datas, no list. Get the confirmation. What is confirmation of accounts? In my book, Shamlal is a data. So Shamlal ke book mein Dipti Chheda will be a creditor, no? Just get it. Get the confirmation and upload it in the system. All this is online now. Then can they ask the books of accounts to be audited? डिपार्टमेंट ने बोला कि हम वी वांट टू डू योर स्क्रूटनी असेसमेंट और वी वांट टू डू इनकम एस्केपिंग असेसमेंट और वी वांट टू डू बेस्ट, कुछ भी करना है तो प्लीज बुक्स लेके सो एंड सो वार्ड नंबर में इस दिन मिलने आना. नाउ एसएससी वेंट टू द डिपार्टमेंट with 2-3 sacks full of books. What is this? Department is saying these are the books of the accounts, check karo. So then department is saying no, this is not my work. इतना सारा बुक्स ऑफ अकाउंट्स मुझे क्या समझ में आएगा, हाउ टू चेक एंड ऑल. सो इन दैट केस कैन द डिपार्टमेंट आस्क an auditor to do special audit? Ma'am, but books of accounts are already audited. टैक्स ऑडिट हो चुका है, जीएसटी ऑडिट, फिर भी क्या होगा? यस. सो दैट ऑल ऑप्शंस वी विल चेक. And suppose if you ask the SSE before doing the scrutiny and assessment, what is the valuation of your assets? So he gave. Now I'm a chartered accountant. I can't see that okay this room में कितना POP use हुआ है, कितना valuation है. Can we get a valuation from the valuation officer? Fixed assets, jewelry, property, investment, all. Yes. So what are the procedural thing before the assessment is done? That's what we are discussing in the next 15 minutes, and it's super easy and very clear. ठीक है, चलो देखते हैं इसको. So the issue of notice to the SSE 142.1. First of all, if you have not submitted the return, then submit the return. No, then only we can do the assessment. Acha, without submitting the return, can they do scrutiny assessment? No. Can they do best judgment? Yes. Return नहीं भी file किया तो भी they can do the best judgment. Can they do 148 income escaping assessment? 147? No. Return filing is must. So simple is, sorry, 1 second, it got closed. Just please. So to recollect once again, whatever assessment you are doing, whether it is scrutiny assessment or best judgment assessment or income escaping assessment, We can gather information from the SSE in different ways. For example, we can ask them to produce the books of accounts. We can make inquiry beyond the books of accounts, that who are your sister concern, what are your purchases, what are your sales, different things. Even if the books of accounts are already audited, tax audit ho gaya ma'am, GST audit ho gaya, fir bhi can the SSE ask to get the books of accounts audited? These are called as special audit. Yes, 142 2A to 2D. Okay, because I'm going to assess the income, I need valuations. So if the SSE said, okay, check, I have done these renovations. So I'm not an architect. So can I get valuation of assets done by architect, or valuation of jewelry done by certified jewelries, valuers and all? Yes. So we can take up help of the valuation officer. So these are all the preparations before assessment. It's not that I have submitted the return 10 rupees, department is saying nahi nahi income 13 rupees, 3 rupees tax karo and finish. No. If they are thinking the income is to be increased or the expenses are to be disallowed, they can go for all these procedures. And this is not in link. You can go for any one of it. I asked them to get the books of accounts and meet me in ward number so and so, this department, Bashirbagh. पता चला 3 बड़े-बड़े sack लेके आ गए. And now these are the books of the accounts. I was saying I cannot do all this. Send it to a chartered accountant. He will charge the fees, do the special audit and give the report. Simple. He's asking the SSE to get all his assets valued. They get, but is it right or not? Can we go to the valuation officer? Yes. So these are all the options. And the first option with the department, if SSE has not filed the return, they can ask him to file the return under 142(1) clause 1. This is section 142, subsection 1, clause 1, which says, Acha, I'm going as per this hierarchy. That's why I told you 2 things, background building I have done. If anyone has missed or is having any doubt, ask. One are who are the authorities, and one is this diagram. Now, okay. So for the purpose of making assessment, the AO may serve notice who has submitted a return of, on any person who has submitted a return, or in whose case time allowed for furnishing return has expired. Okay. So if you have not submitted the return, then you have to submit the return. Okay. Under 142(1). If after saying 142(1), then also if the SSE doesn't submit the return, then what will they do? Best judgment assessment. Okay. Now 142(1) clause 1 is over. What is clause 1, dear students? Submit the return. So based on return, we can start doing the assessment. Scrutiny assessment cannot be done if return is not filed. 147 assessment cannot be done if return is not filed. Best judgment, yes. Once you have submitted the return, can they ask you to produce the accounts, documents and all? Yes. Assessing officer shall not require the production of any accounts pertaining to a period more than 3 years prior to previous year. So financial year is 20 to 23. Before that 3 years, they can ask you. Okay. To get all the books of accounts, documents, statements, confirmations, all. Notice to furnish information. What is the difference in 142(1), 2 clause and 3? This is in the books of accounts, documents, they can ask more details. Other than books of accounts and documents, can they ask for information beyond the books on accounts? Yes. Who are your major purchases done? Are they associate enterprise sisters? So there are questions. AO may require the SSE to furnish in writing information in such form and such points matters as he may require in form of statement of assets, liabilities and all not included in accounts. However, prior to approval of the Joint Commissioner shall be obtained before requiring the SSE to furnish the statement of assets and liability which are not included in books. जो books में नहीं है, beyond that if you are asking, take the permission of the JC. Who is JC? Part of the assessing officer. Okay. Notice under 142(1) can be served only if return is not filed. But 142(2) and 3 can be furnished in all the cases. take a pause and make a mind map for this so that you can ask commenting question. Chalo, return is filed. Self-assessment tax is paid. And self-assessment tax is first adjusted with fees, then with interest, then with tax. Now they said, okay, we will do assessment. What kind of assessment can be done? Scrutiny, best judgment, and your 147. Regular assessment is like if there is no change, it's called regular intimation and it's done. When they start with the assessment, first thing is if return is not filed, they'll ask you to file the return. If return is filed or not filed, can they ask you information from books of accounts? Acha, beyond books, can they ask you the information? Answer is yes. Bilkul yes. Okay? So till here, I hope it is clear. And now the next part is once they have collected all the information and when they decide to do your assessment, then they can go and make the inquiry. 142.2. For the purpose of obtaining full information in respect of income or loss of any person, the AO may make inquiry as he may think necessary under 142.1. AO collects information from SSE. However, 142.2, AO has got the power to collect information from any source. Suppose they feel that my sister is in Baroda and lot of income I have hided there, or some business transactions I am doing there not showing. Can they ask my sister's books of accounts and like that? Can they ask for information beyond the SSC? Answer is yes. 142.2. 142.1 second clause. Produce books of accounts, documents, statements, all. 142.3 other information. 142.2 other information other than the SSC. His relatives, neighbors, jahan doubt hai. Now books of accounts. This also I'll explain orally. It's a very simple procedure or बहुत अच्छे questions in the form of. Today, please, after the class, scroll more than 20 questions I have given how this knowledge is asked in exam. Okay, listen all of you. This 142 2A to 142 2D. These are the sections for audit. अब ये क्या बोलते हैं? Audit में क्या बोलते हैं? So 142 2A to 142 2D. These are audit sections. This says if the AO feels that no, even though the books of accounts have been done, tax audit, GST audit, if we want to recheck, we can ask our auditor to check the books and report us. So who will appoint the auditor? Top authorities. Do you remember AO के ऊपर जो top authorities बोले आपको commissioners and all? They will appoint the chartered accountant for doing special audit. Who will pay the fees? SSC or department? क्या पता? Who will pay the fees? Say, department. Because they have appointed the CA ki okay, we, they asked us 142, one जो सब clause 2-3 है ना, information लाओ. हम तो थैले भर के चले गए, department को दे दिया. If it is online uploaded, all 150 confirmations, देखते रहो. But after getting so much of information, do you think one AO can check up with or with his team also with all this? You need specialized analytical skill. वो ledger scrutiny और कैसे करते हैं? CS तो system के सामने बैठ के कर लेते हैं. And it's not CS. The cost audit is being done by cost accountant. So if they need, they can ask for special audit to be done by chartered accountant in case of this assessment. And the CA will submit the report to the department. Fees will be paid by the department. Now, what will be the time limit? So whenever order is given to do the tax audit, or special audit, it has to be completed, reporting and all, max with extension within 180 days. 6 महीने के अंदर ऑडिट खत्म हो जाना. ऐसे नहीं है कि ऑडिट को टाइम मिला तो बस साल भर से ऑडिट ही कर रहे हैं. Within 180 days and the report should go. So these are the points. Once long back they have asked you, write a short note on book special of audit. I want all of you to add the word over here. This is called, dear students, special audit under 142A to 2D. Okay. AO, after giving reasonable opportunity to everywhere, reasonable opportunity, SSC को बोलेंगे तो सही ना? He may direct the SSC to get his accounts audited if he is of opinion that it is necessary to do so, having regard to the nature and complexity of accounts. Volume of accounts बहुत ज्यादा है, मैं तो नहीं चेक कर सकता. Doubts about the correctness, multiplicity of the transactions. This person is doing like too many varieties of the transaction. Specialized nature of the activity, interest of revenue. So either it is complex or it is voluminous or multi-speciality, multiplicity of the transactions, and too many special kind of the business activities are there. So because of all this, they can ask books of accounts to be audited. Such directions can be issued even if the accounts of SSC have already been audited under section 44AB or any other law for the time being in force. Are you all clear? So such directions can be issued even if the accounts of SSC have already been issued. Such directions can be issued with the prior approval of the TOs. What is TOs? Top officers. PCIT commissioner and all. The principal commissioner and all will nominate the auditor. Such order can be issued at any stage before proceeding by AO. However, no order shall be issued after the completion of the assessment. Assessment होने के पहले ही तो audit कराओगे ना. Time limit for the audit. Audit report shall be furnished by the SSC within the prescribed period specified by the AO. AO has power to extend period on application made by SSC. However, aggregate period, original and extended, cannot exceed 180 days. The CA shall submit the report in Form 6B to the SSC. Thereafter, such report is submitted by the SSC to the AO. CA is appointed by government, but CA will give the report to the SSC, and SSC should cooperate in all this audit. Audit fees and audit expenditure shall be determined and even paid by the central government. Okay. Consequences of failure to get the books of accounts. See, we asked you to get the audit done under 142A to 142D. 142A to 142D. हमने आपको बोला कि books of accounts audit कराओ. आपने नहीं कराया. In that case, the SSC is liable for best judgment assessment. First thing. Next, it attracts penalties and prosecution under 10,000 under section 272A. Penalty भी लगेगा और prosecution भी लगेगा if you don't get the books of accounts 10,000. Penalties etc. are attracted only if there is a default of SSA. You know, so many times the auditor is appointed, but if the auditor is not working on time and something, then is the SSC still liable for the penalty? No. Penalties are attracted only if there is a default by SSC. If the chartered accountant nominated by commissioner refuses to audit, the SSC cannot be held responsible for that. This is already a case law decision. And what happened in this case, I will say, they said in such kind of the case and all, what happens, you know, the SSC is liable to get the special books of accounts audited by Mr. X, who is a chartered accountant appointed by the department. Now, Mr. X, he starts the audit. And while he is doing the audit, he's saying, nahi, nahi, yahan to bahut zyada gadbad hai, mere se nahi hoga all that. And he delays in the report. Can we say to SSC 180 days are over और आपने audit नहीं करा है, अब हम best judgment करेंगे? If the CA is not cooperating, it is not mistake of the SSC of not getting the books of accounts audited, because 180 days will get over very fast. And you know, by the time this CA was doing the work for 3-4 months, then he said, no, it's not possible for me to give any report. Lot of ghaplas are there. I don't want to. Something he back out. So by the time you back out and you appoint a new one, the new one is saying, this much time is not sufficient. So many times the penalty will be waived off rupees 10,000 for the special audit if it is not the fault of the SSC. All clear? Huh? So tax audit, everything is clear. They can ask you pointers in MCQs. Can I ask you to mark these two पैराज, एक टैक्स ऑडिट, ये भी एमसीक्यू के लिए, और नेक्स्ट पेज पे आ जाओ वैल्यूएशन, ये भी एमसीक्यूज के लिए इंपॉर्टेंट है. अच्छा, once tax audit report is given, the SSE must be given an opportunity of being heard in respect of material gathered on the basis of information with third parties, 142 or audit. Okay. Now, estimation by valuation officer in certain cases. Estimation by valuation officer in certain cases, 122A. This also I'll explain orally. What are the items we need to do the valuation before we complete the assessment? Properties, immovable properties, other assets, and you can say jewelry, and if anything is there, investments. So these are the assets which the SSE is saying, okay, this building I have done the renovation and I've spent 1 crore. Let us go to the valuation officer. Registered valuation officers are there for building, for jewelry, for shares, for all. And the valuation officer is saying, no, this renovation is done for 5 crore. So 4 crore kahan se spend kiye, kama ke kiye? And you have not paid the tax on that. Simple. So like this is all the detail for valuation officer. Are the procedure clear in part? I will pause and again give you the gist. If there is any doubt, pause me and ask. The AOMA for the purpose of assessment make a reference to valuation officer. It's optional, not mandatory. To estimate the value, including the FMV of asset, any movable asset, car, plant and machinery, immovable asset, property, investment, shares, securities, mutual fund, and submit the copy. Valuation officer has the same meaning. AO makes a reference to valuation officer, whether or not he is satisfied about the correctness. Valuation officer on reference made shall, for the purpose of estimating the value, have all the powers that he has, like the income tax officer, the valuation officer is having all the powers. Otherwise, how he can call for information, how he will be able to do the correct valuation? So a lot of powers are given to the valuation officer. Valuation officer shall estimate the value of asset, property or investments after taking into account such evidence as the SSE may produce and any other evidence in his possession gathered after giving an opportunity. Okay. Valuation officer may estimate the value of the asset, property or investment to the best of his judgment. If the SSE does not cooperate or comply, and then he will send a copy and report of the estimated made to the AO and the SSE within a period of 6 months from the end of the month in which reference is made. There it is 180 days. Here it is 180 days. From the date on which direction is received by the SSE to get the books audited. Here it is 6 months. From the end of the month in which reference is made to valuation officer. AO may, on receipt of report and after giving opportunity of being heard, take into account the report. AO may or may not accept the valuation report. Valuation report is a third party report. Is it binding on the AO? Answer is no. AO is trying to get the extra information. He may, like, stamp duty value से भी ऊपर valuation report है, तो क्या हम valuation report लेते हैं? No, we take the stamp duty value. Last one can be asked as a commenting question. AO may or may not accept the valuation report. 142A. 142B is faceless everything. All valuation, assessment, ये सब faceless हो रहा है. हाँ? ये faceless, I think I'm just touching up now. Separately, we will take up this faceless assessment, faceless valuation, faceless scrutiny, faceless all best judgment. Everything is becoming now online. And they're saying by 2024, this will work full-fledged. Issuing notice, collecting information, getting books of account audited, going to valuation report. ये सब online होने वाला है. Okay? Right. On the basis of return filed, either regular or summary assessment we call, or ex parte assessment, that is your scrutiny assessment, by checking the information. Generally, this is done maximum. And best of his judgment, when you don't respond, that time they will do the best of the judgment. So first assessment is intimation. You know, when you file your return, the department will intimate ki, okay, everything is correct, or your expenses are not allowed, or your income is added back, something, whatever it may be, they can do the correction and then give you an intimation. Where a return has been filed in response to the notice under 142(1), such return shall be processed in following manner. Total income or loss shall be computed. Okay, either you have self-filed your return 139(1) or belated loss return 139(8) है नया वाला, या फिर you have filed the return जब तुमको notice भेजा. But after filing your return, the department will compute total income after doing correcting arithmetical error. ATC deduction is 150, but by mistake you wrote only 15,000. So arithmetical error. अरिथमेटिकल एरर, एटीसी का डिडक्शन गलत ले लिए, या 234A का इंटरेस्ट रॉन्ग कैलकुलेशन. नेक्स्ट, एनी इनकरेक्ट क्लेम. If such incorrect claim is apparent from any information, you have taken a wrong claim, TDS is not matching with your 26 years, कहीं कुछ पैन ऑन नहीं दिए तो 26 years में तो TDS 10,000 है, but actually it is 15,000 and so on. Disallowance of the losses, house property loss and other losses and all are there, and if these losses are disallowed, department is saying no, this bad debt is not correct. Can they correct it? Yes, disallowance of losses, disallowance of expenditure, for example bad debt. You have shown a bad debt. I want all of you to write the example. Arithmetical error समझ में आया? Interest के calculation में गलती है, ATC and all. Incorrect claim. This chapter is actually very easy, but I'm going very slow because this needs repetition to sink so that your language is good when you comment and write the answer. Arithmetical error, incorrect claim, disallowance of losses, disallowance of expenditures, and disallowance of sorry, ये थोड़ा डिटेल में पढ़ना है, एक मिनट. Disallowance of expenditure or increase in income indicated in audit report but not taken into account. You know, in the tax audit report we will say this expense is not allowed, like bad debt is not allowed, payment above 10,000, unreasonable payment to relative. चाहिए इतने example मिलेगा. These are all the cases, and we have changed it in the tax audit report, 3CB report में किया, but they have not considered in the return. Disallowance of the losses if return is not filed on time. From inter we have been teaching, if you want to carry forward losses, please file the return on time. You didn't, so that's not allowed. Disallowance of deduction claimed under 10AA or under any of the provisions of chapter 6A. Okay. There are so many deductions which are allowed only if you file your return on time. So if you have not filed the return, deduction नहीं मिलेगा, losses carry forward करने नहीं मिलेंगे, and some expenditures if they are disallowed. So if these kind of error adjustments are there, they will all be rectified. Such adjustment shall not be made unless an intimation is given to SSE in writing or in electronic mode, and the response received from SSE, if any, shall be considered before making any adjustment. And in case where no response is received within 30 days of the issue of such intimation, such adjustment shall be made. Okay, are you getting? समझ में आ रहा है या नहीं आपको? 143(1) में रूटीन असेसमेंट में दे विल डू अरिथमेटिकल एरर है, चलो सुधार लो. अनकरेक्ट क्लेम है, डिसअलाउ करो. लॉसेस यू हैव क्लेम बट यू हैव नॉट फाइल्ड योर रिटर्न ऑन टाइम, डिसअलाउ. एक्सपेंडिचर कुछ अननेसेसरी ले लिया, डिसअलाउ करो. Deductions you have claimed but you have not filed your return on time, disallow. Such adjustment shall not be made unless an intimation is given for SSC, either in writing, and the response received from SSC, if any, shall be considered before making any adjustment. And in no case where no response is received within 30 days of the issue of the intimation, it will be done. Tax interest fee shall be computed. वापस से after I have to computed my income and tax, but they are saying देखो bed debt not allowed. 10,000 के ऊपर cash खर्चा किए ना, not allowed. So they will again calculate the tax and interest and all. And sum payable by SSC shall be determined after adjustment of tax interest fees already paid. Intimation shall be generated and sent to SSC. An amount of refund due to SSC shall be granted. An intimation shall also be sent to SSC in case where loss declared by the SSC is adjusted but no tax, interest or fees is payable, no refund is due. ठीक है, आपने रिटर्न टाइम पे भरा, this loss will be allowed to be carried forward. No intimation shall be made after a period of 9 months. This is everywhere reduced, scrutiny, best judgment, हर जगह 9 months from the end of the financial year in which return is made. Simple. ये कौन सा assessment है? Summary assessment. You have filed the return. They did all arithmetical and chota correction and they are passing an order. The period of limitation will run from the date of filing latest return. Suppose you have filed the return, then you revised return or your updated return or whatever. So for यहाँ पे example में लिख लो, your financial year is 20 to 23. What is your assessment year? 23-24. अच्छा है. Financial year is 20 to 23. Assessment year is 23-24. No intimation shall be sent after the expiry of 9 months from end of the financial year in which return is filed. Return कब file होगा? Maximum से जुलाई 23. Just ऐसे tax audit नहीं है तो return का date. So this assessment year के end से 9 months. So assessment year is ending on 31st March 24 plus 9 months. So 31st December 2024 tak this assessment is completed. Basic, normal assessment. Assessment is completed. Write down. Yes. Very easy it is the procedure. So I'm reading also once and explaining also orally. Finish writing this as an example. The acknowledgement of the return shall be deemed to be intimation where either no sum is payable or no refund. अगर कुछ नहीं है तो why they will change and give the intimation? They are changing because of all these things. But if there is no error, there is no adjustment, then all, then they'll just give the acknowledgement. That's it. Finish. Even if the case goes for scrutiny, is intimation necessary? Yes, there's a reason. Understated income 270 में जो लेते हैं, we'll check it later. In case where refund becomes due to SSC under 143(1) and the years of opinion having regard to fact that notice has been issued, this 241A I will explain orally. One second, listen. पहले नहीं था. 241A is added now. And what is this? Listen carefully. So many times I have told you, every year's advance tax you have to pay. Can I say, ma'am, I have to pay advance tax for financial year 23-24. Now, June में पे करना पड़ेगा 23-24 के लिए. तो last year का refund आना है, उसी में adjust कर लो ना department. Department will not do all that. Every year's advance tax you keep paying in 4 installments. and refund जो पिछले साल का ना, it will come. It will take its course of completion of the assessment and refund will come. So no, but sometimes what happens, department has given you refund in the routine assessment, summary assessment. ये जो अभी हम पढ़ रहे हैं ना, summary assessment 143(1), उसमें department has said, okay, there is no arithmetical error, there is no incorrect claim, there is no unexplained expenditure, we will give you the refund. But at the same time, your case has gone for scrutiny, and in scrutiny, you may be asked to pay the tax. So can they withhold the refund till your other assessment is done? Answer is yes. पहले नहीं था. पहले give this refund and whatever other things are going on, they will again put you a demand challan and you pay the tax. Now how it is? 241A says that if there is a refund to be issued by the department in your regular assessment, and department is feeling no, giving refund, this SSC might run away later out of India. फिर कहाँ पकड़ने जाएंगे? तो उतनी ईमानदारी क्यों बताना है? अभी क्यों देना है? Why you want to give the return refund now? So can they withhold the refund? Answer is yes, they can. Check and read and tell me on your own if it is clear or not. 241A. 2 marks, 1 mark, objective, abhi last assessment procedure, last January 23 exam, from assessment procedure, 4 cases and 4 consequences. 1 mark, 4 questions are asked. Ek scrutiny, ek best judgment, like that. In case where refund becomes due and the heirs of opinion having regard to fact that notice has been issued under 143(2), what is 143(2) notice? Scrutiny. And that grant of refund is likely to adversely affect the revenue, he may, for reason to be recorded in writing with the previous approval of the commissioner, withhold the refund. पहले नहीं होता था, but अब refund withhold कर रहे हैं. Clear to all of you? Right. Chalo, we'll go to the next. This is regular assessment. Now I'll explain you in my way what is scrutiny assessment. Pehle orally sun lo. It's a very simple procedure. Scrutiny means checking in detail. Ma'am, is it picked up randomly? No. They have certain filters. Few things ऐसे जो चमक के दिख जाती हैं, they pick up. चलो, go for the scrutiny. So they have certain doubts. You have undershown your income. You have overshown your expenses. You have overrated your losses. In that case, they will say, oh, you want to show so much of loss. कभी कभी ना simple क्या होता है? SSC को post COVID, many of the businesses are genuinely facing losses, and they file the loss return. Loss return file किए ना गया. Such a huge loss, you want to claim 25 lakhs. And if they allow 25 lakhs loss, you will set off for the next 8 years. और आगे 8 साल का भी टैक्स आप करोगे. ठीक है, लॉस का फाइल किए ना आपने, योर केस हैज गॉन फॉर स्क्रूटनी, ये डिटेल दो, वो डिटेल दो, ये बताओ, बुक्स ऑफ अकाउंट्स, all things. Scrutinize means detail checking. I have to self file my return, self assessment tax I have paid. Department will not check each and every return, but out of that hand-picked returns, what they check, that is called as scrutiny assessment. 9 months में complete हो जाएगा. Best judgment 9 months में complete हो जाएगा. Let us read what is scrutiny assessment. Okay. Where the AO or the prescribed authority referred to considers it necessary to ensure that SSE has not understated his income. You have to write this reason in exam. Understated income, declared excessive loss, or underpaid the tax. He can make a scrutiny in this regard and gather such information and evidence as he deems fit. And on basis of such information and evidence so collected, he shall pass the order. A return has to be filed. It is mandatory to file the return for scrutiny assessment. या तो रूटीन में रिटर्न फाइल करो, नहीं तो बिलेटेड रिटर्न, नहीं तो अपडेटेड रिटर्न, और तब नहीं फाइल किए तो 142(1) में, बट फाइल द रिटर्न, मैंडेटरी फॉर स्क्रूटनी. If AO considers it necessary to ensure that SSC has not understated his income, declared excessive loss, or underpaid the tax, then assessment is over. Still, notice can be served for scrutiny assessment. Kabhi kabhi, even if he is not having this doubt, can they still serve based on other information? Yes. Refund may come in scrutiny assessment. स्क्रूटनी करने के बाद अगर रिफंड है तो जरूर आपको मिलेगा. इट्स नॉट कि यू कैन नॉट, like I told you कि updated return file करते हो तो you cannot claim refund, you have to pay the tax. You remember updated return 139.80. वैसे ही best judgment assessment, the next one, department is shouting and saying file the return, you're not listening. Department will say, okay, to the best of our knowledge, हमको जो ठीक लग रहा है, हमारे पास information है, we are doing assessment, we are sending you the challan, pay the tax. So in best judgment assessment, always they will take the tax. Whereas in case of scrutiny, they might give you the refund. What's the procedure of scrutiny? AO shall serve on SSC a notice requiring SSC on date specified to produce and cost to produce books of accounts, other detail. No notice shall be served on SSC after expiry of 3 months from the end of the financial year in which return is furnished. I'll give you this detail. So no notice is to be served. Now, what do you mean by notice to be served? Notice serves means the day notice is received by the SSC. Notice issued is the date on which we issue the notice. Is there a difference? Yes. The date we issue the notice, but the date you have received. So last is what? No notice of scrutiny can be issued by department. ऐसे नहीं है हाँ 2013 के रिटर्न में कुछ गड़बड़ है चलो स्क्रूटनी करते हैं, ऐसे नहीं होता है. There's a time limit. We have filed our return. We are asking you, sir, ये रिटर्न को प्रोसेस करो. आप बोल रहे हो रुको, will not do regular assessment. We are planning to do scrutiny. Then do it within the time limit. They cannot give you the scrutiny notice after the expiry of 3 months from end of financial year in which return is furnished. What is your financial year? 22-23. What is your assessment year? 23-24. When will you file the return? July 2023. 3 months from the end of the financial year in which return is filed means 31st March plus 3 months. 30 June 2024. Write down this example and ask me doubts if you have any. Assessment year end होगा तो 3 महीने में स्क्रूटनी का नोटिस भेज देना. Max. For financial year 22-23, I have filed my return in 23-24. I am just giving July. You can file it in August. You can file max by December. Then March 24 के बाद 3 months. June 24 तक scrutiny notice and scrutiny assessment is completed March 24 से 9 months. ये रहा date. ये देखो. Assessment under 143.3, 143.2 notice. 143.3 assessment. ऐसे link. Are you all doing this 3D makeup? लिखने से link करने से याद रहेगा. It should be completed within 9 months from the end of the relevant assessment. फिर वही बात. Financial year 22-23, assessment year 23-24, 31st March 24 is the end of assessment year plus 9 months. 31st December 24 तक assessment खत्म हो जाना. Notice of scrutiny कब तक भेजोगे? June 24. Next year, after the financial year ends, assessment year के end से 3 months. And 9 months from the end of the assessment year, scrutiny assessment should be over. Bye-bye. After collecting information and hearing evidence and response under 143 and after taking into account relevant material, AO shall pass order in writing. Clear? Can these cases also go for scrutiny? Trust and all get such huge exemptions. What do you think? I was finance director in a cooperative society for 3 years, which was working like a cooperative bank only, but only for members. Okay, around 1600 members were there, and it was a cooperative society, welfare society, working as bank. So 3 years I have worked. I remember every year their case will go for scrutiny. because उनका TDS कटता था, and because they were getting all the exemptions ना, so they used to ask for refund. Like, I'm telling you the actual case. What was happening, like, this is a cooperative society. We are putting our money in FDs with the bank, surplus money. We are giving loan to our members. No one needs, we are putting the money in the bank. Now the bank will to deduct TDS, but then we are not liable to pay the tax because of all the exemptions. So whatever TDS is deducted, we'll get a refund. So these are the cases. So one thing should be clear. Scrutiny is not only for the SSC, it can have all these 1023C and all research associations, universities, schools, colleges, and all. Acha, one very important thing is, who is doing the scrutiny assessment? 143.3 mein scrutiny officer. This question is already asked in exam. I'll tell you how this commenting question is asked. In case of trust, when the assessment was done, the AO found that no, the activities are not genuine and they are not as per the object of the trust. Can he say, cancel your registration, koi exemption nahi milega? Can the AO say? Answer is no. You remember I have taught you in trust special violations. कि अगर ये होगा, तो the return, this, if all this happens, the trust registration will be cancelled. But who gives the permission of the trust to work? Commissioners, higher authorities, PCCIT, CIT. So who has got the power to cancel the registration of the trust? Higher authorities, TOs, not AO. So please remember, I am teaching you right now scrutiny assessment. Can the scrutiny be done for trust? Yes. But in trust scrutiny, can the SSC say your registration is cancelled and you pay tax? No. AO will inform to the higher authorities that, sir, while doing the scrutiny, this is it, but action will be taken by the higher authorities regarding the cancellation. AO is not having the power in scrutiny. Scrutiny assessment karo or return or tax ki baat karo. Cancellation power is not given to the AO. Check this. It's a very interesting question. Next one. 2 minutes time, I'm also continuously speaking. I'm not giving any break, just one or two things and I'll close for today. We'll go a little slow only in the assessment procedure. Tomorrow we will do the dispute resolution panel and some more questions. And then the most important, that is the self-assessment tax wala karenge. हाँ ये पढ़ो लेकिन. Read the question on your own. This para. An order for assessment of SSC shall be made after giving the provisions, effect of provision section 10, जो भी exemption है. However, in following cases, assessment of SSC shall be made without giving effect to the 10. AO cannot disallow the exemptions. AO has intimated the central government or the prescribed authority about contraventions made by SSC on which they have got exemption, and approval granted to SSC has been withdrawn by authority. Which authority? Government. So no effect shall be given by AO to provisions of 1023C in case of the trust if the provisions of first proviso became applicable, whether or not approval granted to trust or intimation is issued or withdrawn. In short, AO cannot make and cancel the judgment, matlab this trust ka. It has just got to assess the income. So this time AO will say, sir, your registration is cancelled by the TOs, top officers, because you have gone into specified violations, and then we will assess the income without considering exemption. That's fine. But can they say, आप गलत कर रहे हो, object of trust के लिए काम नहीं कर रहे हो, cancel your registration? No. That power is not given to the AO. Clear? Same faceless scrutiny is going on. Chalo, last one for today. Best judgment assessment. This is, the last resort left with the department. We asked you to file the return 139 में. You didn't file. Belated return का time दिए नहीं. नया अपडेटेड रिटर्न शुरू किए 2 years तक यू कैन फाइल. आगे March 25, March 26 यू कैन फाइल. March 24 का रिटर्न तभी भी नहीं. यू आर नॉट फाइलिंग द रिटर्न. हाँ, or the details you are not giving, or you are not cooperating in the tax audit, or valuation के पास जाओ. So any of the things which I have taught you in last 1.5 hour, if they are not cooperating in doing, the department will say enough. We asked you to file the return 142 और नहीं किए ना, best judgment जो हमको ठीक लगेगा. This is your income, this is your tax, pay the tax, finish. So this is called as a blunt assessment. What? Huh? Best judgment assessment. When they will resort to it, let us see. Under this section, assessment shall be made by AO to the best of his judgment after considering all the relevant material. AO cannot reduce the tax liability of the SSE by assessment under this section. Okay. I told you, best judgment assessment में refund नहीं आएगा. Refund cannot be issued. Can you get a refund in the scrutiny? Yes, but in the best judgment, though, it's like a dhamki. It's like they are asking you to pay tax. What are the 4 cases when you will go for the best judgment assessment? If the person fails to file the return, 139 1 में नहीं, belated नहीं, revise नहीं, कुछ नहीं, person fails to, इसमें एक add करो, 1 second, इसमें 139 8A को भी add करो. You failed to file even the updated return. If the person fails to comply, notice भेजे, नहीं किया. Audit कराओ, नहीं किया. Okay. And if the person fails to comply with the terms of notice, scrutiny के notice भेजा, then also you didn't comply. So if any of the cases AO is under obligation to make an assessment under this section, best judgment assessment is not the discretionary power of AO, but it is mandatory. कोई मजा नहीं आ रहा है AO को dominate करने में. हमने बोला रिटर्न फाइल करो, नहीं किया. इंटीमेशन दिया कि अब लेट तो रिटर्न फाइल करो, नहीं किया. ऑडिट करवाओ, नहीं किया. स्क्रूटनी की नोटिस दिया तो स्क्रूटनी में आके मिलो इन दिस रूम नंबर, टाइम चला गया, नो रिस्पॉन्स, देन वी हैव टू डू बेस्ट जजमेंट. AO cannot do ad hoc judgment. Assessment is done based on some evidence. Of course, AO is having information. To the best of our knowledge, we feel this is our information, and according to this, this is the tax, and pay the tax. Will the opportunity of being heard be given in best judgment? Diplomatic answer it is. Dekho. Assessment under 144 can only be made after giving SSE a reasonable opportunity. Such opportunity shall be given serving a show cause notice. Show cause notice is, dear SSE, tell us why we should not assess your income in 144. Calling upon SSE on date and time why the assessment should not be completed to the best. Such opportunity need not be given where notice under 142(1) has been superb googly. You didn't file the return. We asked you to file the return under 142(1). अब वो भी return नहीं file करना है, अब कोई opportunity मिले. How many times we will give you the opportunity? Simple. An opportunity is not in the form of soft manner. It is a show cause notice, SCN. Many books they write it as SCN. Tell us, SSE, why we should not make the best judgment if you are not giving all the details after this date. ऐसे करके they will put the time limit. And no refund can be issued. Scrutiny assessment, yes, refund. Best judgment assessment, no refund. Clear to all of you? Shall I close best judgment or you want time to read? If they ask you, write a short note. Best judgment assessment is done by the AO, and when he will do, when the SSE का कोई response ही नहीं, is neither filing the return. 142(1) में respond नहीं है, audit करा लो. 143(2) में they have given scrutiny notice. If you want, write down 143(2) scrutiny notice. तभी भी कोई respond नहीं है, तो obviously they will do best judgment after giving the opportunity of being heard. Can you get a refund in the scrutiny? Yes. Can you get the refund in the best assessment? Answer is no. Okay, this one is nice and very simple also. Small one, very small concept. Just last one. Dispute resolution, we'll check. Power of the Joint Commissioner to issue directions in certain cases. 144A. ये ना सबको एप्लीकेबल है, सबको. हु इज जीसी? हाँ, जॉइंट कमिश्नर ऊपर है ना, आपने देखा ना अभी हायरार्की AO and all. Sometimes SSC is saying, sir, can you help? I'm dealing with so and so officer, but he's not cooperative. Like brothers and sisters are fighting. So sometimes they finish off their fight. Who are brothers, sisters, SSC and department? Sometimes they go and tell to mother, अरे देखो ये नहीं मान रहा है मेरी बात. तो that is like joint commissioner. Joint commissioner, can they dominate? No. मम्मी की बात समझ में आए तो सुनते हैं, नहीं तो नहीं सुनते हैं. नहीं सुधरे झगड़ा दोनों का मम्मी की बात से तो किसके पास जाते हैं? We go to father. Father is your DRP. DRP, whatever it says, both have to listen. The SSC also and the AO also. SSC is saying, nahi, dispute resolution panel, it's giving all wrong. I don't agree. You can't oppose now. Later, if you want, let them pass the order. AO, as per the DRP guidelines, let's pass order. Then you go and fight in the appeals and all. So, अभी DRP को थोड़ा साइड में हटाओ, वापस आ जाओ. Joint commissioner, sometimes on its own, it's feeling. Overview देखते रहते हैं ना joint commissioner. तो it can guide to AO. It can just issue directions to the AO. Okay, do like this. Finally, who is going to do the assessment? JC? Answer is no. AO only. So it's just like a guidance. Just like a guidance. Let us see. Joint Commissioner may, on his own motion or on the reference made to him by the AO or on application of SSC, call for an exam. देखो कौन कर सकते हैं अब. Only on this part you can get MCQs. Joint Commissioner on his own, खुद को ही लग रहा है JC को कि नहीं ये दोनों के बीच में इंटरप्शन की जरूरत है. Or reference made by AO saying, sir, this case is getting complicated, can you guide? Or SSC saying, can you help? Call for an exam in the record of proceeding, having regard to nature of the case and amount involved, issue such directions as he may think fit. Directions which are prejudicial to the SSC shall not be issued without giving the SSC an opportunity of being heard. However, directions of investigation shall not be deemed to be a directions prejudicial to SSC. They'll just give, अगर कुछ कर रहे हैं SSC को prejudicial है तो opportunity of being heard देंगे. अच्छा, these directions shall be binding on the AO, not on SSC. Assessment कौन कर रहा है? AO. JC क्या कर रहा है? गाइड. तो JC की बात सुन के क्या AO से हाँ ठीक है, JC तो बोलते रहता मेरे को जो करना है वो करो. No. Direction shall be binding on AO. हाँ? All this is also going to become faceless, this support by the JC. Clear to all of you? So 3 cases JC will play into role. JC on his own is feeling, no, his expert opinion is required. Yeah, SSC is saying, sir, can you tell the AO? AO is saying, can you tell the SSC? JC will interrupt. He will call for the information and he will give his directions. Can the assessing officer says, हाँ JC बोलते रहता है, no, he has to abide by that, and then it will continue your assessment. SSC cannot oppose JC's directions directly. JC के direction के हिसाब से let the AO complete the assessment, and then if he doesn't agree, SSC has further options to go to a commissioner appeals, to appeal High Court, Supreme Court, और revisionary powers 263 264 जो भी है वहां. ठीक है? Did you follow till here? I thought कि I will complete one more DRP also, but DRP थोड़ा बड़ा है, थोड़ा time लगेगा. DRP has some time limits. But in today's class, did you observe or not? Regular assessment, your scrutiny or best judgment should be completed 9 months from the end of the assessment year. If anyone is using old books, old scanners, it is 12 months everywhere. So we will continue with DRP tomorrow. DRP एक छोड़ देते हैं, उसके बाद एक दो छोटे छोटे sections है which I want to just touch up, already done in your business head. Like section 145.1. 145.1 says, for income tax purpose, either you can follow cash system of accounting or mercantile system of accounting. That too only for two heads of income, business head and income from other sources. Because capital gain, house property, they have all their own set of rules. No, notional income पे tax pay कर रहे हैं house property में, fair and municipal value whichever is है, तो उसके अपने rules हैं. So to compute business income and income from other sources, which system we should follow in income tax? Cash or mercantile system? Hybrid system is not allowed. Second, 142.2, central government has notified ICDS. You have separate chapters wherein each ICDS is compared with accounting standards, and where you need to follow ICDS instead of accounting standards. So just for MCQs, I want to give a gist of this and listen to this carefully. What I am talking right now, 145.1 over. Books of accounts should be maintained in cash system or mercantile, hybrid नहीं चलेगा, वो भी to compute which income, business head and other source. 145.2 says there are 10 income computation disclosure standards. Like we have accounting standards for accounts, like we have IFRS international standards, like we have standards on auditing while you do the audit. Same way we have ICDS. How many ICDS are there? 10. First of all, they are applicable for whom? All the SSCs except individual and HUF. In case of individual and HUF, ICDS are applicable only if books of accounts are audited. That means if your turnover is above 1 crore, तो बुक्स ऑडिट होंगे, इंडिविजुअल है, HUF है, छोटे मोटे हैं तो भी, then ICDS is applicable. Second, ICDS is applicable only to compute the income. ICDS has got nothing to do with how you're maintaining the books. मैम बुक्स में मार्केट टू मार्केट लॉस लेना है तो नो, नहीं लेना है तो मत लो. इनकम टैक्स में फॉलो ICDS. To compute which income, business head and other source, only if you are following mercantile system of accounting, ICDS is applicable. Ma'am, just now you said 145.1 is saying cash system भी maintain कर सकते, करो, फिर ICDS की जरूरत नहीं है. 99.9% SSCs, they all follow the mercantile system of accounting, and to compute the income, business head and other source, they follow ICDS. Is this clear? इनमें से कोई भी एक MCQ आए for 2 marks, 2 marks, 2 marks, 2 marks, 20 marks are yours for MCQs, है ना? तो इसको अच्छे से करो. Commenting question also they can ask. These standards are required to be followed by all the SSCs other than individual HUF who are not required to get the books audited. Who follows mercantile system to compute income? These standards are not for maintenance. Books of accounts में क्या हो रहा है उससे मुझे कोई मतलब नहीं. मेरे को किससे मतलब है? Compute the income. And if there is a conflict between the Income Tax Act and ICDS, obviously the act will prevail. Act का एक छोटा सा हिस्सा है ICDS. Okay? Right. 145.3. If AO is not satisfied with the correctness or completeness of the books of accounts, or if regular method of accounting is not followed, or if ICDS is not followed, AO may make assessment in his manner. You know, we have studied best judgment assessment 144. अब ये है discretionary best judgment. ये कब होगा? Number 1. AO is saying books of accounts properly maintain नहीं है, numbering दो. Or if regular method of accounting proper नहीं है, cash या hybrid, or if ICDS are not followed, then AO will not refer to your books and add and less and all. It will make best judgment whatever it feels best. So today 2 amendments I have taught. One is that 142(1), wherein they said ki even if there is a refund, department can now withhold your refund if they feel that it is prejudicial to the department to issue the refund and you might not pay later. If your case is picked up for scrutiny and assessment, they can withhold the refund. Okay, that is an amendment. Even this one, the best judgment 144 तो पहले ही होता था, discretionary best judgment. एसएससी बुक्स मेंटेन नहीं कर रहे हैं, आईसीडीएस फॉलो नहीं कर रहे हैं, मेथड ऑफ अकाउंटिंग इज नॉट प्रॉपर, हाउ डू आई असेस द इनकम? फॉरगेट अबाउट द बुक्स, डू द बेस्ट जजमेंट असेसमेंट बेस्ड ऑन प्रॉपर. बेस्ट जजमेंट असेसमेंट भी हवा में नहीं होता, इट्स नॉट डन लाइक दैट. They have certain facts and all, and now with 26 AS, AIS, other strategies are there. 3CD report में so much of extra information you need to furnish. Based on that, they have enough information to do the best judgment assessment. ठीक है? Right? So we are closing the class as of now. Today's class we have done normal assessment, your scrutiny assessment, your best judgment assessment, special audit, valuation officer, and all the hierarchy. Please read and come the hierarchy so that when I teach 147 tomorrow is very important. 147, 148 में से पक्का क्वेश्चन आएगा. तो ऐसे ऑलवेज टेक द परमिशन फ्रॉम द टीओज, हायर अथॉरिटीज. तो टीओ कौन है? पीसीसीआईटी, सीआईटी, हाँ, तो चीफ कमिश्नर, कमिश्नर, प्रिंसिपल कमिश्नर, दीज आर ऑल टॉप अथॉरिटीज. So check all that. Any doubt anywhere or anywhere the language is not clear? I know thoda sa theoretical tha, and thank you so much. It takes lot of patience to sit and listen like this to these kind of the classes, because always we are used to working charitable trust में थोड़ा concept, थोड़े notes. Math is like completely we'll be busy in calculating and doing the problems. But it's not always. income tax paper में ये भी आता है. But one thing I promise, looking into the latest paper pattern, whether you are in 16 syllabus or 22, assessment procedure में ऐसे कोई jumbo questions नहीं पूछ रहे. They'll ask you 3 questions of 6 marks or 1 mark 4 questions, like that they can ask you. That's why few things I may have repeated 10 times, one more time. Scrutiny में you might get a refund. Best judgment में कभी भी refund नहीं आएगा. They want to extract tax. That's why they are doing best judgment. Otherwise, if there is no tax payable, मैंने return नहीं file किया, आप भी चुप रहोगे, नहीं पूछोगे. But you are feeling that no, some tax is payable. That's why best judgment assessment. Okay? Right. Thank you so much. That's all for today. Don't miss the class tomorrow. Income escaping assessment, lot of amendments are there. We will discuss it tomorrow. Thank you. Bye-bye.